Now, I'm gonna be honest. I'm excited because I was not necessarily aware that you did horror stuff, and frankly, horror is actually my genre of choice. So it's always fun to talk to people that has any knowledge of horror. I'm curious. Uh, are you into the written side of horror or the like film side of it more yourself?
That's a complicated question, but
I think some people are better at both mediums, frankly.
well, I mean, I'm into both, but for different reasons. So, uh, for horror film, I'm more into the technical aspect, effects, things like that. For books, I'm for like horror novels and horror comics, I'm pretty much into all of it except for Dracula. I hate that book. It's terrible.
It's something.
It's boring.
Eh, It's yeah. I mean, by modern standards, certainly horror became something very different. Certainly in the 80s and 90s.
I mean, I have old horror. I love Frankenstein. Frankenstein is legitimately terrifying, but it's also beautiful and well written. And there's a lot of similarities between Frankenstein or the new Prometheus and Dracula. There's a lot of really long, drawn out descriptions of countryside, for example. And it's very boring in Dracula because it's technical. It's not boring in Frankenstein because it is it uses imagery and it's evocative.
No, I'll stand by that. I actually put off reading Dracula for a long time. It was within the past year. I think I actually read it for the first time, and that was about my impressions of it. I mean, it's like most of it's him talking to this woman about like her husband. Like it's a lot of interviews, which is kind of like that's weird. I thought this was about like a blood sucking monster, and I think there's what maybe like a few chapters on the boat, which is like the only really horrific stuff in the book.
Yeah, and the rest is like this weird pseudo love story, and you're just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's like that, and the Renfield stuff is the interesting stuff.
I don't understand the whole Renfield thing. Like that movie comes out, and I'm like, I don't know why anyone cares to watch this. It's the least
Oh, I
interesting
love
character
that
to me.
movie. No, 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 that
Was it
movie's good.
good?
It's so good.
I mean, I'm interested in it as a Nicolas Cage movie, and that's about as far as my interest went.
He did awesome. And honestly, it's about as close to a direct sequel to Bela Lugosi's Dracula as you can get. I was very
Okay,
impressed. It
okay.
it it was really good. And the kid who plays Renfield was in Warm Bodies, which I also love. Uh it it's a really fun movie.
That's another one I've never gotten around to. Like I remember it coming out, and I just never made it a point to check it out. I think when it came, Warm Bodies came out too close to like the peak of zombie movies, and I think I was like, I'm kind of tired
Yeah,
of zombie movies right now, and it's
it's definitely more of a girly flick because it's just
oh, I don't
Romeo and
mind that,
Juliet,
but
but zombies. I mean, the characters are even named Juliet and R, so they don't like hide it.
I mean, one of my favorite episodes of Psych is Romeo and Juliet knockoff, so I've got no problems with that kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh, Psych is hilarious.
One of the few. It's like my go-to. I'm waiting to go to sleep tonight from the show. I'm just gonna put this on. I've watched these 300 times and I don't care because Sean and Gus are hilarious.
Mine for that is Hemlock Grove.
Oh my god! Like I don't know anyone else that's ever watched that show but me.
I have it on DVD. I love it so much because I wanted to cancel Netflix years ago, and I realized I
My only beef was that show. I feel like that show, if it had kept with the core of what the show was about, would have been fantastic to keep going. The last season felt like it got
where
really,
it's
really
like
weird to me, and I'm like,
it was a little weird.
the
I didn't
dragon,
buy that one.
the dragon stuff. I'm like, but those like, it was the first two seasons or whatever it was. Which oh my god,
So good.
Like I was
I can't get enough.
well, I've my like I'm an RPG person. My RPG of choice has always been
Vampire the Masquerade?
well, just White Wolf's New World of Darkness in general.
Okay.
Like that's kind of what I came into it on, and it just felt so much like they're taking those concepts, like the fact that like because Twilight made the werewolf thing, they went with the Native American stuff, which is the skinwalkers, like that idea. I get it, but the classic werewolf is always the Roman, the Romanov. Like it's that the gypsy side of things, and the fact that they like went with that was in that time period was awesome for me.
Yeah, but she made up all the Stephanie Meyer, she made up all her werewolf stuff. That's not even a real like Native American tribe.
Oh no, I'm well aware of that.
Which was the safe it was the safe way for her to go really cuz nobody can say, "Oh, you represented the Cherokee wrong" or whatever.
Yeah, your lore is terrible here. What is it? You're screwing it all up. Oh, okay, well I made it all up, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, she's like, "Well, I made it up." So,
Right on. Well, is there any like key insights or things that you found that work or don't work as far as like helping spread the message of your books or yourself as a creator? Obviously, you have people recommending you for for shows and stuff, so clearly you have your audience and they're willing to put in the effort for you.
yeah, I don't who even did that. Thank you.
I couldn't even remember. Just someone's like, you got to talk to Allie. She's great.
Well, thank you, person.
Well, I'm glad they did. Like I said, I get very few people on here that talk horror, and it's always like when I do find them, that's always fantastic because it's a very niche thing, as you put it. It's not something most people are into.
Well, nobody can do horror right.